So this is kind of part two of our Jerusalem adventures. This is a big day for us. We went up to the Mount of Olives where we could look out at the entire city, just a massive, beautiful city. Went from there not very far down into the Garden of Gethsemane where we saw these beautiful old olive trees, and of course a church there. Um, to me, really one of the highlights of the day, just thinking about Jesus praying in this pretty small garden, but just beautiful area. Went from there down to the whole temple area. So we went to the Wailing Wall and touched the Wailing Wall, which is the old part of the temple that Herod rebuilt, which was closest to the Holy of Holies. Came out of there, went and saw the Dome of the Rock, this huge Muslim mosque that apparently is just covered with copper that they've overlaid with gold on top. But huge, massive area of courtyard. Of course, couldn't go in because we're not Muslim. And then that's when we really started the trek of Jesus's last moments on earth. We went down the Via Dolorosa, the way of suffering, that road that Jesus walked. We went to the place where he was beaten, so there's a church there, the Church of Suffering, and then there was a prison there that they believe Jesus was held in, also a prison for Barabbas. So there's all these different stations of the cross that you can see, and then as we're making our way, we see a rock that Jesus touched where he couldn't carry the cross anymore, that Simon from Cyrene carried for him. And then we finally made our way up to the Church of the Sabbatical, and just amazing how many crowds are there. People try to get near a place where the crucifixion was, and it was a long line, and people were trying to get close to it. Just all sorts of jewels and lamps and different things. Went from there downstairs where there's this stone that they say they laid Jesus' body, so people were coming and laying over it, praying over it, putting oils and different things on it. Just really a kind of a moving scene. And then things kind of got bad because we tried to go into the place that they built around the tomb that Jesus was laid in, and it was literally an hour to an hour and a half wait of these just impatient people pushing and shoving, trying to get in, and it's frustrating when you're in such a crowd like that. So we went into this very small cave, and one of the first things you see is this glass case with what they believe is the original stone, and then, of course, the place that they say that he was laid. From there, we came out, and then surprisingly, we were near the place where the Last Supper was, the upper room. So we went into the upper room. They also say it's the place that the disciples prayed and the Holy Spirit came upon them. Downstairs from there was David's memorial, King David's burial place. Interesting because there was a section only women could go to, and then a section for men, and there's of course a bunch of Jewish rabbis praying over that whole area. So we left there, and then what we did was we drove to Bethlehem, which was only about 7 miles away, but because of traffic took about 25 minutes. And when we went to Bethlehem, we went to the Church of the Nativity. Church of the Nativity, the first part of it, the main part, is this Greek Orthodox church. The roof is in the shape of a cross, and then there's a really long line down into the cave that they think that Jesus was born, where there's a star. We paid a little extra money and kind of got the fast pass track down, but again, just crowds and crowds of people trying to get to the place that they think Jesus was born. So then we went from there to the other side of the Church of the Nativity, which is a Catholic part of it. And while we were in that Catholic part of it, just a beautiful sanctuary, and they say that's where they do like kind of a stream or a broadcast throughout the whole world on Christmas Day itself from the Church of the Nativity on the Catholic side. Coming out of there, it was interesting because there was a big group of tourists that were singing "O Holy Night" at the Church of the Nativity. Great weather today. We've been in 110 plus weather in Egypt, and now today it was like in the mid upper 70s. So great day, and boy, a lot of things to take in, a lot of things to see. Just amazing to walk in all the places that Jesus suffered, died, and rose again. So this is really why we came, and amazing that we got to see it with our own eyes.